I'm assigning you a design project that should challenge your understanding of the parametric drawing and geometric construction. You'll be in charge of coming up with the design. If you cannot come up with anything, there's a lot of examples online that I'm sure you can find. Once you have your design in mind, you'll put it into AutoCAD, and it will need to have at least, or contain some of these features. Not some of these features. It needs to have all of these types of features on it, but not limited to just one of each. I'd like you to put a lot of effort and thought into this project. There should be at least two dimensional parametric constraints on the design that will change things like its overall length, or if it's got a circular feature that needs to change its diameter up and down. And once you change those two dimensional constraints, the part should still retain its initial design without any major failures. Same goes with the dimensioning on your layouts. Those should all stay the same like we've done in the past. You should be able to change up to about twice the size of its original design and half of that. So it should give it a pretty good range of motion. When you're done with it, I'd like to basically test this out. We're going to share that. You're going to share your design with everybody in class, and I'll assign random numbers within a range you provide me, and they should be able to make iterations on that drawing without much hassle. If they got to change the scale on the drawing or adjust the spacing between some dimensions, that's okay, but they should be able to take your file and then within less than 10 minutes have a finished drawing. I have an example here of something I created. You'll require at least to have two views for these designs. I have a film reel here. As you can see, I have a lot of construction lines going on right now. I'm going to shut them off to kind of give a better look at it. So this has more than two. So if you can achieve what I've got here, I'll be pretty happy. There are a couple things in AutoCAD that I'm still working with. If you end up needing a section view, which we haven't covered, but I can kind of walk you through the basics of that if you need it. When I change my design here, the section lines don't seem to stick, but that's one of those things that it doesn't take much to fix. So delete it, redo it. It only takes a second to readjust that. So I can change my overall, my outer diameter. I can change everything, but the ones I'm focusing in on are my outer diameter, inner diameter, and then the angle between these cutouts here. So if I change my film width, let's see here, let's go 0.6875. Oh, so that actually worked this time. My patching stayed good, which is nice. My outer diameter, let's change that to, I'm just going to go a little bit, but it can do, see, that broke the hatching. Let's change my inner diameter. And that's something you should do with your designs, is put some labeling to the major dimensions you want to change, so when you hand it off to somebody, they know what to change. I'll double that. That all stays good. And I also can play with my angle here. And let's see here. So I wrote an equation on mine here to control the other half of the angle. And as you can see, I only have two of the angles. So using symmetric, you can cut down on what your design needs to have in terms of your dimensional constraints. Not just symmetric, but any of the geometric constraints. Use them as much as possible so that this list isn't gigantic. I probably could cut down on mine a little bit too, but it functions for what I need to demonstrate. So if I come over to my drawing here, hit a dim regen, most of my dimensions have stayed good. I just need to adjust my scale now. Let's see, what do I got here? half scale's a little bit small. I could go custom. If you haven't done this before, here I can show you how to make your own scale. We'll do 3/4. So this is all when you hand this off, this is all that someone should have to do, is just adjust some scales depending on the size they adjusted the part to, position some of the dimensions so they're not overlapping visible lines or what have you. I have a detail. This is a detail view. If you want to, AutoCAD's way of handling detail views is not great as far as I've found out so far. This is a detail balloon. As you can see, as I'm moving it around, it's in there, but it's not showing up. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But these things aren't such a giant hassle to have to manipulate a drawing, so I should be done here in just a second after double checking these things. Let's go 3/4. Tim regen. Everything's good there. I'll move my cutting line back into place. It looks like I'm gonna have to redo my hatching, which once again that doesn't take long. I just delete this. The next thing I changed up my title block, so now it's part number, description, and move some other things around to fit everything. And then you'll put in a description whatever the type of part is that you're designing, and then basically the two major dimensions that you're going to use to manipulate it. So I have my overall, my outer diameter, and then the width between here. It doesn't look. Oh, I did it right there. Okay, there it is. So those are insert fields. You can type them if you want, but the insert field, I just selected the object, and that's driving that dimension. So you don't have to worry about. Let me fix this one out here. Double click on that. So that would be objects. You select the object. The object should give you a bunch of different properties, such as this was a line that I selected. It gives me the option for length, and then I'm setting this to fractional for my dimension, and then I can also adjust the precision. And there we go. If you need more than one sheet, make sure to adjust your sheet numbers there. This is 1 of 2. This is 2 of 2. When you have 2 sheets, holding down Shift, you can select both tabs, right click on it, and then publish selected layouts. This will pop up. Select it to publish to PDF, and then hit publish. It's pretty easy. As you can see, that didn't take much for me. I need to pay attention, move things so they look nice. That I'll work on to figure out why that's doing that. This is actually on the viewport layer, so when I publish it, it's not going to actually print, so that's not an issue, but I can, well, that's why I'm not dragging it out. So that's in goal, is to have a part with some fair complexity that you can hand off to somebody and they can manipulate it within just a couple seconds and have that new part. When you do make the new part, open up the file, do a file save as, and then name it something new. So I'll give you some part numbers like this to work off of. So this one will be now B. Hit save. Now I should be able to go back to A, and it was what I had it at before. So I'm still working on this a little bit. This will be fully detailed out. Should be a fun little project. Use your imaginations.